Mugsycalhoon, right back at you guys here with the Halo movement. I'm joined by Chris DeFonso, better known as Mr. Aptitude or Aptitude. You guys all know who that is, the 1v1 legend. How's it going, Chris?
What's up, dude?
So yeah, man, this is like pretty much my first time having a conversation with you, and it's gonna be on an interview, so it should be pretty live, man. I've known a lot of pros and a lot of good GB guys throughout the years in the community, but this is like literally my second time talking to you today, and our first time was just basically like a hi type of thing. So yeah, I had some questions for you, man. First of all, I know like a lot of people know your name and they know who you are, but they never really seen you. Maybe a brief interview at like an AGL or something like that. But would you mind going through us with your placings that you've done on LAN?
Sure. Starting when? Halo 3, Halo Reach?
Yeah, I mean any placings you've had from the earliest Halos up until 4.
I've been to probably 15, 20 events over the years. I started in Halo 2, only went to one event, then got more competitive in Halo 3.
So how did you do at that Halo 2 event?
We got the last round before Pro Bracket. We ended up upsetting some big names like Adrenaline and War Kid. It was all of our first event, so we were kind of new to it. But we definitely gave it a good run, and I loved it so much. Definitely got even more into it come Halo 3.
Yeah, see, now that's something new for me. I mean, I just heard about you like in the middle of Halo Reach, and I just heard about this kid, Chris Aptitude. I think the first time I heard about you was through By Hero. We were kicking around some names for a team, and I just heard that you were a 1v1 guy that didn't really know how to play fours. I mean, what would you say to people that had that idea of you in their head?
Back in the day, that could have been true, but speaking for Halo Reach and now, I definitely won enough tournaments, lands, locals, disprove that. I just happen to be a nice 1v1 player. I'm like an all-around type of guy. I won a few free-for-alls. Kind of like Ninja. He used to be a 1v1 kid, still really good at ones, plays well at fours. He's as good at like everything. He can adapt well.
I think with Ninja, he's been mentored by some really great players. He's had the opportunity to play side by side with Walshy and Strongside and Nated. Have you been mentored by any players like that? Notable players that kind of took you under their wing?
I did work up from the bottom. I had some big names that I played with. Throughout Halo 3, I discovered, if you will, Russo from the Halo Reach team Fanatic Classic, and we made top 32 together, and then he went on to better and bigger placings in Reach, and I always learned from him. He lives right around the corner from me, so I play a lot with him side by side, and I learn from him.
But you discovered him, so would you say you mentored him or he mentored you?
In Halo 3, I don't know. I wasn't necessarily better than him, but I gave him that shot that he needed. And then...
How do you give somebody a shot?
People that never been to an event or never placed well on an event, they don't really get shots with good people.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like you helped him get his shot better, but you're saying you gave him a shot to play with a top guy like you, like he just got a golden ticket to team with you, basically.
Yeah, I'm not like saying I was amazing, but people he was teaming with, he was definitely a higher caliber at the time, and it proved to be right. He did really well at Rally 2010 when he first made it out of AM bracket with us, and then Twilight noticed him from local tournaments as well, and then they teamed at the Dallas exhibition event before Reach, and got pro status from that, and he just kept going up since then.
Yeah, for sure. So we kind of jumped past the placings. What about Halo 3? What was your best placing? Since you've been to so many tournaments, we'll just say your best placing in Halo 3.
In Halo 3 at 25th, that was with Russo, Saucy, and Intensify, who ended up quitting as soon as we made it out. But we were a solid team. We made it out to winners. Definitely upset a lot of big names.
What names did you upset in that particular tournament?
Well, seeing how nobody knew who Intensify and Russo were, and me and Saucy were kind of amateurs at the time, names like Beast-X, Ferris, um, Monster, and their fourth were like one of the top seeded AMP teams, and they beat us game one, and we didn't give up. We came back game two and ended up beating a pretty bad game three, and then from there we went on to winners five and winners six, and made it up through there.
Okay. What about reach?
Reach.
Best placing in reach.
Reach was kind of interesting. At the combine at DC, I met two players that I started a journey with, if you will, throughout the entire 2011 season, Tri and Platinum. And we went to Dallas together, got top 24. I mean, right now it sounds kind of bad for a pro player, but at the time we were all psyched out. It's all of our best placings. Looking forward to the future. But stuff happened for Columbus, where he found two other people. I left them. It was a little bad blood. We both ended up getting top 24 again on separate teams. Reunited for Anaheim and got top 20 together. We almost got top 16, but we lost to Twilight and Dursky, who ended up getting like third or fourth that event. So,
Okay, so and let's just go current. You know, like, did you go to Dallas?
no. Dallas Halo 4, I didn't see much of a point in going. It's pretty far from where I live. I was in school, and it would have costed quite a bit of money. So
Now, it seems like, you know, I mean, did you think that you peaked out, or, you know, you've been in the league for so long, you know, I mean, what do you think happened? Like, how come you haven't got like a top 8 finish or a top 12 finish or, you know, anything like that? Do you think that, you know, like maybe your teammates have been holding you back, or, I mean, what kind of adjustments are you going to do in the future to try to better your placings and maybe even win some tournaments?
Well, first, to address one of your points, I got top 12 with Tri and Platinum. We ended up picking Illinois Toxic up for Rally 2011, and we actually did get top 12 at that event. We got 11th, and that's what secured our pro seed, all of us as pro players. And probably what took me so long in so many events is back in my Halo 3 days when I was younger, I acquired a very bad rep, and from that I was forced to team with maybe caliber players that weren't at my potential, if you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up finding those right people, finally getting top 12, finally.
Yeah, because for a while, like I seen, like this is even something I talked to Saucy about. Yeah, I was like, you know, like thinking like you and Furium and Saucy and just like you guys were just like crazy, you know what I mean? Just saying crazy stuff on Twitter, just, you know what I mean, just straight, you know, roasting people and just whatever. And, you know, that gives people an impression that you guys are like, you know, maybe trouble or maybe punks or whatever, you know, the case may be, you know. And I got to know, you know, Saucy, you know, pretty on a pretty decent level, and the dude's hella cool. He's super chill. And we talked about that. He's like, yeah, I cooled out on that a little bit and all that drama, Twitter drama and everything. You know, do you think that's something that you did that was enabled you to get better teammates?
Related to Twitter, you're talking about?
What's that?
Are you talking about related to Twitter? How I got?
Yeah, related to Twitter, like you said, people like you had a bad like a bad rep. You know, maybe from people like seeing you on Twitter, like, you know, getting crazy and trolling people, and I seen some crazy Twitter smack talk. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Kratos is another one too.
I'm not certain about that, but I wouldn't doubt that I've burned a few bridges that I would regret burning. But I tend to joke around on Twitter a lot. I don't take a lot of it seriously, but yeah, I guess on social media websites, I guess having a professional attitude never hurts.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to realize, you know, you all them followers that you got, those are actual people. You know, how many followers do you have on Twitter?
1.5K.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like for example, that's you're touching a lot of people. If you took 1,000 people and put them in one house, that'd be you wouldn't even be able to talk to all those people in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of people. You know, and some of those people could be sponsors. Some of those people could be potential teammates. And like it's just something that I think that maybe you've learned throughout the years. What I mean? Like, I gotta kind of chill just a little bit. I mean, as much as we all like getting crazy and having fun and talking trash, like I like to do the same way, man. What I mean? Talk trash. Of course, the likes of Mugsycalhoon aren't as good as a Mr. Aptitude here, but I like to have fun. I'm a community player, a casual player, but I like to talk smack, and I still like to hump, teabag and talk trash to people in matchmaking. But I don't know those people. What I mean? They're not people I really that I run across often or ever. I feel like I would never see them again. But like people in game battles or people in MLG, those are actually people that are part of the community that we see all the time that you're gonna bump into over and over again at events and online and on game battles. You know what I mean?
I agree with you on that. I tend to keep a strict professional attitude, especially in game battles. After playing even fours, ones, twos, anything, because kids like look up to people who are like high on the leaderboards, like undefeated. Certain people on that ladder, like everyone knows them, so it's good to like I don't have people liking you. It's not something I'm trying to do anymore about like having people hate me or whatever. Always play good games afterwards.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I'm glad to hear that. But I think there is a place for trolling or talking trash. What I mean, like the basketball court and on the football court. When it's between the lines, it's okay. Saucy and Ninja on their show, they were kind of going over what's good and what's not. I think they're a little bit softer than me because I was talking mad smack at Dallas. I mean, I was talking to all kind. I mean, I was talking about people's hair. I was talking about how fat they were and their mom and all kinds of stuff, man. So what I mean. But they were just like, as long as it's about the game, and like me, I disagree, man. I say take the gloves off when you guys are playing, but after the game is over, don't get too personal. I mean, there are some lines that shouldn't be crossed, like people's girlfriends or their kids or whatever. But I think people's moms, I think that's on limits because that's just so talked about. But I mean, if it's outside of the game, I think it's uncalled for. But during game, I think it's okay between the lines. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I've always been a fan of talking shit in game for getting people's heads and motivation purposes for me.
Yeah,
But no matter what, after the game, win or lose, it's always good to say good game, shake hands if you're at an event or whatnot, and just move on. No need for bad blood afterwards.
yeah.
Especially
Now speaking of Twitter and shit talk, I seen some crazy, reckless shit from a guy named Monster coming at you talking about he wanted to fight at AGL and all this stuff. I mean, what was that about?
oh yeah, that guy. Uh, I don't know, man. He gets pretty emotional, if you will. His team ended up losing a match to us on game battles. He was kind of upset because he had to forfeit one of the games. His teammate took 20 minutes to join or whatever. So we went on to map 2. They got beat pretty bad. Monster in specific did really, really bad. And then took it to Twitter after that when we didn't continue anything in the lobby. He just felt the need to bring it to Twitter and indirect tweet me and threaten whatever. But
So he was just really that offended off of losing a match that I mean, you didn't say nothing to him. You weren't like, "Yeah, you suck," or what I mean, like, what I mean, like none of that happened. He just started just going off.
exactly, but
Man,
sometimes
I mean, sounds to me like that's just like his feelings were hurt, man. He just hurt his
over
feelings.
game battles is
Just over no reason. Just the fact that you beat him. He just wants to fight you, and then the fact that you like just didn't crawl in the corner or ignore him, then he wanted to fight you. You know what I mean? I don't know.
yeah.
That's what it seemed like for me. That's my perspective on things. But
Yeah. No,
so
at all that he would do anything. Most gamers know better not to do anything because if they hit a gamer or assault someone else, then you know you're gonna get kicked out of the venue. They're not just gonna let you, unless it's outside the venue, like in a hotel or something. You're not gonna be able to stay there. You're getting kicked out.
yeah, no. What confused me was that stuff that happened with Maniac and Scar J, and they're like, "Yeah, you're banned, Maniac. Next time we have an event in like 8,000 years." It's like, oh, okay, you really showed him. Like, they banned him from events, but then they stopped having events.
Uh,
Yeah, that was retarded. So what's your outtake on AGL?
um, I've been to one already. It was the very first one, the Chicago Halo Reach one. It was the first tournament ever. It wasn't near like MLG, but I can't blame them if they're just like a new company starting out trying to make a big name for themselves. I've heard pretty good things about them so far. They're not nearly the size of MLG, but if they're able to hold tournaments with all the equipment and have a bracket, and if it's ran professionally, then it doesn't matter how many people are going to it. It's still like the fact that we're competing, there's thousands of dollars on the line. I mean, I think it's good what they're doing, and I'm definitely going to Jersey. Hopefully Nashville as well.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna hit that Jersey tournament up. That do you know of any other good players that are going, or teams that are going to that event?
I don't know many actually. There's a few teams that live around me that I know are going.
So there's some locals, but not like notable players that you're like really worried, or not worried, but like need to look out for. You
Uh,
feel pretty confident going into that one.
the skill gap is kind of small in this game. A lot of the amateur players do have the potential, like shot-wise, to outplay better players.
Now it's funny you say that because I was talking with like V Dean, for example, and Marcus, and Dean like absolutely hated this game because he could just destroy people, shot wise in reach. And in this game, he felt like the skill gap was closed a little bit, but I think just a little bit. Marcus told me that like alumni said like this is definitely the easiest Halo to shoot in, but sometimes I get into some shooting matches with some crazy good skilled players and just get embarrassed, man. So the skill gap is still there. I mean, you think there's that much of a difference from reach? It is easier to shoot in, but how much of a difference from reach do you think there is?
There's a noticeable difference, I'm not going to lie. The fact there that a lot of these amateurs who have good shots and whatnot still don't know how to play fours very well. It's noticeable. You can tell which teams, like, for example, like our team, you would be able to tell that we know what we're doing. We play fours forever. It's just positioning, like, there's a bunch of different stuff. But from the amateurs who have good shots, you can tell that they're more unorganized, more, like, just not teamworking.
Running around relying on their shots when they don't even have them, or teamwork. It's kind of just running around, just kind of running and gunning. But
Yeah,
yeah, that was my point. It just kind of forces you to play better, like be better positioned, have better teammates,
yeah.
and just you gotta, you know.
Coordination is huge, and I learned that as I was playing through Reach and my placings were going up, that when I was playing higher caliber players, not just calling out, but coordinating stuff with your teammates.
Exactly. I think that's one thing that a lot of like even top players like game battles kids don't understand. Like you're not truly communicating by just shouting out call outs. That's not true communication. What I mean? True communication is when you're coordinating pushes and like you're having, back and forth, exchanges with you and your teammates, and you're truly, there is a dialogue going on as opposed to top mid, da da da. You know what I mean? Like that's not like and a lot of people think that that's how you communicate. One shot, and that's good. I mean, there's a time and a place to do the call outs. I'm not saying that that's not all, but I don't believe that's just that is true communication, and I believe that that's what a lot of AM players and even some GB guys need to learn. So let's just move on to the 1v1ness because that's what everybody that you're known for. Who would you say? Okay, how about this? I'm gonna name three guys, and I want you to tell me if you think that they're good 1v1 guys or not. And then after that, I want you to tell me who your biggest challenges are. Okay, so Vaporeon. Would you say Vaporeon is one of the top 1v1 guys in the world?
Are we talking about overall Halo or just current Halo 4?
We're talking about Halo Reach and Halo 4.
Okay, to answer that, probably not. He's a good 1v1 player in Halo Reach compared to me. He is, like, far away from me, and I usually tend to get host over him, but he never gave a challenge if he went for any other reach. Any other four, I haven't played him yet, so he could be much better. I'm not sure at this point, though.
What about Paradigm?
That's an interesting player. I've played him so many times online and on land, and the same shit happens every single time we play.
What's that?
He always wins Sanctuary. I'll never be able to beat that kid on Sanctuary. I don't know what his strategy was, what he did, but he just was a beast on Sanctuary.
So would you say that he was the best Sanctuary player in the world for Halo Reach?
Him or Little Talent, probably, yeah. I would have to go with one of those two.
Him or Little Talent, huh? That was going to be the third person I was going to name. Since you already brought up Little Talent, what about V Dean? Where do you think V Dean fits in those three between Paradigm and Little Talent?
As a 1v1 player, he'd probably stand underneath those two. I didn't know that he got into too many 1v1s. I haven't seen him play like a lot in game battles with 1v1s. I remember playing him a few times, just messing around in custom games, and he was good, but just for the experience level, I'd say that.
Has he ever beat you?
Can't remember. Not to my knowledge, not on like game battles. We would play customs, just messing around.
Oh, okay.
Reach.
What about like a Lionheart or Charlie Boy?
Definitely good 1v1 players. Not at the same level as such as me, Little Talent, Ninja. They're good players, but not. If you're looking for the top players, I wouldn't say either of those are.
All right, last one before we get out of 1v1s. Ninja, you just brought him up, and that was I was gonna say Ninja would probably, everybody would probably say he was the best 1v1 kid in Reach. Do you think Paradigm's better, or what would you say?
Well, for the record, Paradigm would always get beat pretty bad on Zealot and Countdown. He was not an overall better 1v1 player, but just on Sanctuary, he was a monster. And for Ninja, I've been playing Ninja 1v1 since Halo 3, since back in the day on game battles, before he plays well, I plays well, anyone on 4s. But it tends to usually be whoever pulled hardest would get the way out of me and Ninja. I'd say we're pretty much equal throughout Halo 3, and maybe even Reach as well. I don't know, he does blame me for stream watching one time when it was literally impossible. I was direct connecting, which means no wireless, nothing has internet except for my Xbox in my house. But he is pretty good at 1v1s. He's really skilled. He's a smart player, as am I.
Well, where would you rate him? Like, how would you stack him in between you, Paradigm, and Lil Talent?
I would say me and Ninja would be the two best 1v1 players, at least in Halo Reach.
Really?
I do have to give credit. I would still say me and Ninja were tied, probably second and third, or tied for second. But the overall best 1v1 player in Halo 3 was definitely Mac, who won countless 1v1s and dominated everyone on that game.
Huh. Oh, that's I didn't even know that. So we got a 2v2 tournament coming up this weekend. This VWS is $200 for first place, and it's probably going to be $100 for second place. So you are teamed with Gabriel, right?
Yeah, we've played in a bunch of 2v2s this week. We're trying to get that good teamwork down in preparation for this weekend.
Now, there's some other boss-ass players like Exhale and Crazy and DPS Goose and Hypotonic, and Thuggish Killa is going to be getting a partner, and we don't know who he's going to be partnering with just yet. And I did talk to Marcus today, and him and Ninja, that's the rumor, I'm going to get confirmation tomorrow, are probably going to be doing it as well. There's other players like Broadside and Winter and stuff like that. You going to give me a prediction?
I don't want to say hype us up, but I think we have a pretty good chance at walking away at least top two. Me and Gab have upset some pretty big names. We've been grinding out matches on GB 2v2.
Like who?
For example, we played Broadside and Winter the other day. They were 19-0, and neither game they got more than 14 kills. I think the second game they had 9 kills combined.
Now you consider Broadside and Winter big names? Because I don't really consider Broadside and Winter big names. No offense to Broadside and Winter, but I would consider like a Ninja or a Mickwin or a Strong Side or an Alumni. You know, I mean, like Nated.
Big names, but in the GB community and especially in 2v2s, I expected them to be pretty good. 2v2s has a much different skill technique than 4s.
There is, and I think a lot of people don't get that. They're just like, he's a monster in 1v1s. He should be able to be pro. You know what I mean? And I don't think people understand that the more people you get into the game, the more, things, there's so many more variables, spawns and whatnot.
But are trying to get involved in 4s. I know Winter and Broadside plays pretty well at AGL. They got 4th, I believe.
Now, do you consider people that place top 16 at AGL pro players?
I would.
Especially now with all the top tier pros over in COD, or at least most of them.
I know a bunch of pros switched to Call of Duty, and some even play League of Legends a lot now. Some pros just quit totally, just quit everything.
So would you consider somebody that got top 16 now with all these pros gone a real pro?
No, solely for the fact that there's not as much teams as there used to be with MLG. There's only 24 teams at certain AGL events, and the bigger events for AGL they're holding 48 teams. So if I had to say a range for pro, I would say top 8. That's stretching it a little maybe.
All right, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and, taking the time to come and explain, your perspective on things in the community. I really appreciate the interview. Thank you. Did you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, I want to shout out my teammates, my new Severance team, Gabriel, Mo, and Munoz, and our Steve Easley, who's making AGL, New Jersey, and Nashville possible for supporting us. Big shout-out to them and Dave.
All right, cool, man. Well, thank you very much for your time. We're wrapping it up with the Halo movement. Mugsycalhoon, Aptitude, we're out. Thanks.